Today, we're going to have one of the most important conversations a man can hear if he doesn't just want to attract a woman, but wants to keep a strong woman beside him while keeping his self respect intact. And I'm going to start with a truth that can bruise your ego, but it will save you years of confusion if you take it seriously. A woman can be in your home, in your bed, in your daily routine, and still be emotionally gone. She can be physically present while her mind is already moving toward another man, another life, or simply a version of herself where you are no longer included. And here's what men usually get wrong about why that happens. It's not always because you're unattractive, not always because you don't make enough money, not always because you drive the wrong car or you didn't buy enough gifts. Those are the convenient excuses because they're easy to measure and they protect your pride. But often the real reason is simpler, more personal, and more uncomfortable. You didn't understand what she was actually starving for. You gave her a lot, but you missed the ingredient that keeps her feelings alive. And the most dangerous part is this: you usually won't see the ending coming. She won't announce it like a movie scene with screaming and broken plates. Most of the time, it's quieter than that. It's subtle. It's gradual. It's the kind of shift that makes you second guess your own perception. There's a little less warmth when she looks at you, a little less softness, less curiosity about your day, less openness with her thoughts, less effort in her voice, more silence, more "I'm tired," more "nothing's wrong," more "it's fine." And you tell yourself the usual things. She's stressed, she's busy, she's going through something, work is heavy, she just needs time. Meanwhile, someone else becomes the place where her nervous system relaxes, not because that guy is some perfect superhero, but because something in his presence feels easier than what she feels with you now. Before you get defensive or start hunting for villains, I want you to do something that takes real courage. I want you to be brutally honest. Replay the film of your past relationships. Think of the ones that ended with that strange taste of unfinished conversations. The ones where you could feel the distance growing, but you couldn't name it. The ones where you felt like she stayed out of habit, convenience, or guilt, not because she was pulled toward you. Did you ever notice her voice change? How it went from warm and alive to polite and clinical? Did you notice how she stopped volunteering her inner world? How your jokes used to make her laugh and then one day they landed in silence? How the fire in her eyes slowly dimmed into that scary, glassy neutrality? That is the moment a man needs to recognize, because it's not random. It doesn't just happen. It's a signal, a red light, a siren. But most men ignore it because admitting the truth is painful. Something in the foundation has cracked, and the foundation I'm talking about is not romance. It's not chemistry. It's not fancy dates, sweet compliments, or clever lines. Those things can decorate a relationship, but they cannot support it. What supports it is something most men underestimate until it's too late: emotional safety. Now, stay with me. Don't roll your eyes. I'm not here to turn you into a yes man. I'm not teaching you to tolerate disrespect, swallow everything, and become a quiet servant just to keep the peace. Emotional safety is not weakness. It's not softness. It's not letting chaos run your life. Emotional safety is structure. It is the environment your presence creates. A woman can be with a rich, successful man and still feel constant tension in her chest. She can be with a normal guy with no status and feel calmer than she has felt in years. That calm is not an accident, it's built. So, what is emotional safety in real life? It's when she can be around you without bracing for impact. It's when her nervous system doesn't have to run a 360-degree defense, when she doesn't have to keep a mask on, when she doesn't have to measure every sentence, when she isn't waiting for your mood to turn into punishment. It's when she can disagree without it turning into a war. Make a mistake without it turning into humiliation. Have a bad day without it turning into, "You're attacking me." Tell the truth without it being used against her later. Because here's the thing most men don't understand. When a woman stops feeling safe, she often doesn't leave immediately. First, she switches into a mode I'm going to call caution. Caution looks like this. She starts filtering everything. She stops saying the direct truth. She becomes careful with her words. She begins testing you with small issues, not to be annoying, not to be evil, but because she's collecting data. She's trying to answer a question her body won't stop asking. If I'm honest with him, will it cost me? Will he explode? Will he shut down? Will he punish me with silence? Will he twist my words? Will he make me pay for my feelings? Will he blame me for his reaction? Relationships don't die in one dramatic moment. They die through thousands of small moments where honesty becomes too expensive. And here's the key. Emotional safety isn't mysterious chemistry. It's not luck. It's not something you either have or you don't. It's a structure built on daily behavior. I'm going to give you 4 principles. If you build these into your identity, you will stop losing relationships in ways you can't explain. And you'll stop being replaced by men who aren't better than you. They're just steadier than you. 4 principles. 1. Confidence. 2. Leadership. 3. Self-respect. 4. Honesty. Let's break them down. Like men. Practical. Clear. No fantasy. Principle 1. Confidence. Let's define confidence correctly because most men confuse confidence with performance. Confidence is not the guy at the bar laughing the loudest, talking the most, trying to dominate the room. That's not confidence. That's insecurity, wearing a costume. That's a man begging the world to believe his act. Real confidence is quieter and heavier. It's knowing who you are, what you stand for, what you want, and what you will not trade away just to be chosen. A woman feels emotionally safe with a man who doesn't need to beg for love. Not because she wants to be chased by a desperate man. Not because women are cruel, but because neediness is pressure and pressure kills safety. The most emotionally unsafe man isn't always the rude man. Sometimes it's the panicked man, the man who cannot handle distance, the man who spirals when she's quiet for an hour, the man who turns every small shift into a crisis, the man who sends 10 paragraphs to fix a mood, the man who buys gifts to calm his anxiety, the man who explains himself like he's on trial. At first, it can look like devotion. It can look like passion, but underneath it feels heavy, sticky, demanding, like she's responsible for regulating your emotions. And when a woman feels responsible for regulating you, she cannot relax. And when she cannot relax, attraction slowly suffocates. Confidence says, without needing to announce it, I want you, but I'm not empty without you. I care about you, but I won't abandon myself to keep you. I'm here by choice, not by desperation. That is emotional safety. Let's make it real with an example. Imagine a man named Michael. Michael doesn't chase mixed signals. He doesn't beg someone to communicate. He doesn't squeeze himself into a life where he isn't being welcomed. If a woman acts confusing, he doesn't start performing tricks. He gets clarity. He calmly says, I like you, but I'm not doing confusion. If we're building something real, let's build it. If not, no hard feelings, I'll step back. No threats, no drama, No insults, no manipulation, just self respect. And here's the part men miss: that calm ability to walk away from what doesn't fit you is what makes a woman feel safe staying. Because she knows you're not with her out of fear. You're not clinging because you can't stand being alone. You're not trying to trap her. You're not trying to win her like she's a trophy. You're choosing her. And love that is a choice feels clean. It feels stable. It feels masculine. A confident man is predictable in the best way. Not boring. Stable. Grounded. Solid under pressure. And that stability is the first brick in the foundation. Practical confidence, check. Ask yourself, do I have a life I respect even without her approval? Do I say what I mean, or do I shape shift to avoid losing her? When I feel anxious, do I tighten my grip, or do I steady myself? Confidence is not control over her. It's control over you. Principle 2, leadership is one of the most abused words in modern dating advice. Some men hear leadership and think it means control. They think it means I'm the man, you obey. That's not leadership. That's insecurity with authority issues. Real leadership is much simpler. It's direction. It's having a spine, a purpose, a path. It's waking up with a sense of where you're going and not letting your entire identity collapse just because you're in a relationship. Women don't relax around a man who is drifting, not because they need a dictator, but because drifting creates uncertainty. And uncertainty creates stress. A woman can feel almost immediately whether a man has an inner compass, not a loud voice, a compass. The kind of man who can say calmly, without guilt, I care about you, but I'm working right now. I'll call you tonight. We'll have a good evening. Not rude, not cold, not dismissive, just clear. Here's why this matters. If you drop your priorities every time she snaps her fingers, she might enjoy the attention in the moment. She might feel flattered. But deep down, a serious part of her will start asking, if I can knock him off his path this easily, can he handle real storms? If he can't manage his own time, how will he manage a family, pressure, crisis, conflict? If he collapses under emotion, will I ever feel safe leaning on him? Leadership creates safety because it creates a future. A man who is building something, improving, sharpening his skills, leveling up his discipline, becomes a man a woman can respect without forcing it. And respect is not a nice extra. Respect is oxygen. A woman's attraction is deeply connected to respect. When she respects you, she trusts your judgment. When she trusts your judgment, she relaxes. When she relaxes, she becomes softer, warmer, more loyal. Not because she's being trained, but because her nervous system feels like it can breathe. This is why many relationships die quietly, not because the man was too nice, but because he had no vector, no direction, no growth, no inner structure. He had time for jealousy, drama, video games, scrolling, and arguments, but no serious relationship with his own mission. And when a man has no mission, the relationship becomes his mission, which sounds romantic, but it's a trap. Because then every problem feels like life or death. Every disagreement feels like betrayal. Every silence feels like abandonment. And the pressure becomes unbearable. Leadership isn't dominance. It's discipline. It's direction. It's consistency. Practical leadership a check. Ask yourself, do I have goals that don't disappear when I'm in love? Can I say not right now without guilt or aggression? Do I make decisions with calm or do I avoid decisions until life forces me? A man who can lead his own life is a man a woman can trust. Principle 3, self-respect. Now we get to the part a lot of men avoid because it requires real backbone. A woman cannot feel emotionally safe with a man who doesn't respect himself. That is not an insult. That is an axiom. A man without self-respect usually becomes one of two types. Type 1, the doormat. Type 2, the ticking bomb. The doormat accepts nonsense to keep her. He apologizes even when he did nothing wrong. He tolerates disrespect and calls it love. He compromises his dignity and calls it peace. At first, she might enjoy the control. Some women will lean into it, but deep down, her respect for him erodes. And once respect erodes, attraction follows. Because she thinks, consciously or not, if he can't protect his own dignity, how can he protect anything else? Then there's the ticking bomb. This man swallows disrespect. He laughs things off. He says, it's fine. But he's not fine. Resentment stacks up like pressure behind a wall. Then one day, he explodes over something small. Dishes, a tone, a comment, and he unloads months of anger at once. She's shocked because she didn't see it coming. That unpredictability is emotional danger. She never knows where she stands. She never knows what will set you off. So she becomes cautious. And we already covered where caution leads. Self-respect is what makes your love clean. Self-respect is boundaries. And boundaries don't create problems. They reveal problems. A boundary is not a threat. It's not an insult. It's not a tantrum. It's clarity. This is what I accept. This is what I don't. If we can't align, we can't build. A healthy woman will respect that, even if she tests it. And yes, sometimes women test boundaries, not always consciously, not always maliciously. Often it's a way of asking, is this man real? Or is he performing strength until he gets challenged? If your boundary collapses the moment she gets emotional, cries, or pushes, she learns, he has no backbone. I can move him anywhere. And when she believes she can move you anywhere, she cannot feel safe with you. Because she doesn't want to date a man she has to manage like a child. Now I know what some men are thinking. If I set boundaries, won't she leave? Listen carefully. If a woman leaves because you started respecting yourself, she wasn't a safe partner for you anyway. Emotional safety is not a one-way street. It's not you creating safety for her while she creates chaos for you. A real relationship is two adults who feel safe. You cannot build a healthy union with someone who demands your humiliation as the price of their presence. Practical self-respect check. Ask yourself, where have I been tolerating behavior I secretly resent? Do I communicate boundaries early, or do I wait until I explode? Do my actions teach people how to treat me? Self-respect is not aggression, it's stability. Principle 4, honesty. Now we talk about the principle that can destroy the other three, even if you have them. Honesty. A woman does not need perfection, but she needs to know you are real. Because lies create a special kind of anxiety that doesn't go away, even if she never catches you, even if she never confronts you, even if you think you're smart and you cover it well. When a woman senses that something doesn't add up, her body reacts. She becomes suspicious. She becomes watchful. She starts checking details. She starts looking for patterns, and men love to call this crazy. But what it often is self-protection. It's not magic intuition. It's survival instincts plus pattern recognition. When your story shifts, when your words and actions don't match, when you promise things you don't follow through on, her nervous system stops trusting you. And once trust is gone, emotional safety is gone. Many men think honesty just means don't cheat. That is a low standard. Honesty is bigger. Honesty means you don't sell dreams you don't intend to build. You don't promise commitment to keep her around while living like a bachelor. You don't talk serious today and disappear tomorrow. You don't hide your intentions and then call her insecure for reacting to your inconsistency. You don't keep her in confusion because confusion benefits you. Because nothing kills safety faster than confusion. A woman can survive a hard truth. She can survive rejection. She can survive, I'm not ready. But uncertainty is torture. Uncertainty makes her overthink. It makes her anxious. It makes her lose sleep. It makes her become the version of herself she hates. And when she becomes that version, she starts associating you with stress. That's when love turns into fatigue. Honesty is not confessing everything in a dramatic way to look pure. It's not dumping every thought on her and calling it vulnerability. Honesty is integrity. One life, one face, one story. Your words line up with your actions. And when a woman feels that integrity, something powerful happens. She exhales. She stops guessing. She stops investigating. She stops preparing for betrayal. She stops trying to read your mind because she knows where she stands. Practical honesty? Check. Ask yourself, do my actions match my words consistently? Do I avoid difficult conversations and let confusion grow? Am I clear about what I want and what I'm building? Honesty is not only moral, it is strategic because it creates trust, and trust creates calm, and calm keeps love alive. How the decline actually happens. Now let's connect the dots. When a man lacks confidence, he becomes needy or reactive. When he lacks leadership, he becomes driftwood. When he lacks self-respect, he becomes either weak or volatile. When he lacks honesty, he becomes unreliable. And the result is the same. Emotional safety disappears. Then she enters caution mode. She talks less. She shares less. She laughs less. She touches less. She starts keeping parts of herself separate. And here's what men do at that stage that makes it worse. They panic. They start interrogating. They start demanding reassurance. They start checking her phone, her mood, her loyalty. They start trying to control the external while losing control internally. And that is the final nail, because controlling behavior is almost always born from inner instability. The irony is painful. The more you try to force closeness, the more distance you create. So what do you do instead? You build the foundation, not with tricks, not with manipulation, not with corny lines, with identity, the masculine frame that holds a relationship. Let me put this in plain terms. A woman stays loyal long term when she feels two things at the same time. One, she feels safe with you. Two, she respects you. Safety without respect creates boredom or contempt. Respect without safety creates fear or emotional distance. You need both. That's why the four principles matter. They create a masculine frame that can hold love without collapsing into insecurity or domination. Confidence gives you steadiness. Leadership gives you direction. Self-respect gives you boundaries. Honesty gives you trust. Put those together and your presence becomes a calm place, not a battlefield. And when your presence becomes calm, she stops looking for relief elsewhere. Because understand this, people don't always cheat because they want more pleasure. Often they cheat because they want relief. Relief from tension. Relief from walking on eggshells. Relief from being misunderstood. Relief from unpredictability. Relief from emotional chaos. If your home feels like pressure, she will seek relief somewhere else. Maybe not another man. Sometimes it's friends, work, fantasy, social media, emotional affairs, or a private world where you don't exist. But if your home feels like peace, she protects it. How to start fixing this today. Now let's get practical. You don't build this overnight, but you can start today with a few moves that change everything. 1. Replace reaction with regulation. When you feel triggered, slow down. Don't speak from the wound. Don't text from panic. Don't argue to win. Ask yourself, what would a calm, self-respecting man do right now? A regulated man is magnetic because he is rare. 2. Speak clearly, not aggressively. Clarity is strength. Instead of sarcasm, say what you mean. Instead of silent punishment, state your boundary. Instead of vague hints, make a clean request. Strong men don't communicate in fog. 3. Build a life you respect. Your mission is not a slogan. It's your daily habits. Train, learn, work, create, build, improve. Not to impress her, but because a man without growth becomes emotionally dependent on this relationship for meaning, and that's pressure. 4. Set standards early. Don't wait until resentment piles up. If something doesn't work for you, address it cleanly and early, not with rage, not with insults, not with ultimatums, with calm certainty. 5. Live one honest life. If you want casual, say casual. If you want serious, act serious. If you don't know, say you don't know, and don't waste her years. Nothing builds safety like consistency. Now you can see the mechanics. Emotional safety isn't rose petals, romantic speeches, or weekend trips. Those are decorations. We're talking about foundation. It's the invisible environment you create when you walk into a room. A man who has confidence doesn't collapse under pressure. A man who has leadership knows where he's going. A man who has self-respect doesn't trade his dignity for peace. A man who has honesty becomes trustworthy because he is real. And when these 4 pieces are in place, something changes. A woman stops defending herself from you. She stops bracing for a fight. She stops monitoring your moods. She stops thinking she has to manage you. She can be soft without fear, open without regret, feminine without feeling unsafe. And that's why some men keep loyalty for years, without begging for it, without performing, without living in anxiety. Not because they got lucky, not because they are all rich, not because they are perfect, because they built what most men ignore. When she looks at you, she shouldn't see only a lover, a roommate, or a provider. She should see a rock, a man whose presence quiets the storm instead of creating one. And now the question is simple. Look at your relationships. Then look in the mirror. What's missing for you right now? Where do you break down? Where did you let chaos into the structure? Where did you trade your standards for comfort? Fix it. Not as a trick to keep her. Fix it for yourself, because your inner strength is the one currency that doesn't depreciate. A man who builds these qualities wins in life regardless of who stands next to him. If this hit something real in you, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And in the comments, tell me which of these 4 principles is hardest for you to master: confidence, leadership, self-respect, or honesty. I read your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video.